going to be an all drugstore makeup tutorial using drugstore and affordable products. I've been wanting to do a drugstore look for a while now, and I recently went out and did some shopping. I showed you what I got in my previous video in my drugstore haul, so I really wanted to try out some of those products for this look today. And I've just created this really beautiful golden coppery smoky eye with a winged liner and some lashes, and then just gone for a really nice mauvey pinky brown toned lip. So if you would like to see how to get this look using all drugstore and affordable products, then please keep watching. So first I'm going to try the L'Oreal LUMI MAGIQUE primer, and this is more of an illuminating primer, so this is going to add a really nice radiant glow to the skin. I'm going to apply that to the tops of the cheeks and also down the centre of the face. These are all the areas that I want to look the most highlighted and luminous. You can see it just gives that really nice glowing finish to the skin. And then I'm also going to use the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. I'm going to use this on the areas where I tend to get enlarged pores, so around the nose and the cheek area. This is like a clear gel texture. It's very similar to the Benefit Porefessional. So just applying that to the centre of the face, along the nose and the cheeks. This feels really smooth, so quite like the feeling of that. That's just going to blur out any imperfections and any large pores, so your foundation is going to sit nice and smoothly over the top. So I really like the way that that one feels so far. Now for foundation, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the Dewy and Smooth, and this is in the shade 220 Natural Beige. I'm going to be using my damp beauty blender to apply this on the skin and blend it out. So I'll just like to put a few dots around the skin first. And as you can see, my face is quite a lot lighter than my neck because I do have a spray tan on. So the foundation, we want the colour to match your neck, and that way everything's going to look blended and all the same colour. So taking my damp beauty blender, I'm just going to use the circular side and just pounce that along the skin. And this just really blends that nice and smoothly. I just find using the beauty blender, it just gives you such a more dewy, glowing finish because it is a damp beauty blender, so your skin's still going to have that dewiness to it from the dampness of the sponge. And I do find using a beauty blender that the foundation just looks a lot more smooth on the skin. You don't get any of those little brush stroke marks that you would get from using a makeup brush, so that's why I generally like to use a beauty blender. This foundation has definitely been one of my favourites lately. I just absolutely love the coverage and the dewy, radiant finish that it has to the skin. And I always like to make sure I bring it down onto the neck just to make sure that you're blending the colour and there's no difference in colour, there's no kind of line left there from the foundation not being matched to your neck. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Medium, and this is more closer to my skin tone colour, and then I'll be using a highlighting pen to highlight my face. So I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer just to conceal the areas on my skin that need a bit more coverage and just to cover any blemishes or any redness as well. I'm going to take that under the eyes. I like to do like a triangle shape because I find you just get the best amount of coverage, and also covers the areas just on top of the cheeks where you can tend to get a bit of redness or you might have some dark circles there. So I find bringing it down that little bit further always helps to cover those areas a bit more. And then putting some around the nose where I tend to get a little bit red, and also on the chin, and just anywhere I've got a little bit more redness or some blemishes. And taking the beauty blender once again, I'm going to blend that out. I like to use the pointed side to get right underneath the eye area. I just find it fits in there really well and it just really blends it out beautifully. And now I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal LUMI MAGIQUE highlighting pen, and this is in the colour number 1 Light. And I'm going to use this to highlight all the areas on my face that I want to look more bright and brought forward. The different features of the face, which would be the forehead, the nose and the chin, and also on top of the cheeks. Those are the areas you want to highlight to bring your features forward. And this just adds some more dimension to the skin instead of having the whole just one colour with your foundation. Highlighting and then also contouring, which I'll be doing, just brings a lot of dimension and structure to the face. So this one's a little wind up pen. You just wind that up and I'm going to apply that underneath the eyes and just along the top of the cheeks. And the same on the other side. I'm going to pop some of that on the forehead, down the nose, on the cupid's bow, and on the chin as well. Now I'm going to go in with the Australis AC on Tour Cream Highlight and Contour Kit, and I'm going to be using the darker contour shade here to contour around the face. Taking my MAC 130 Duo Fiber stippling brush. This one is a bit more compact, so I find this is really good for blending out your contour shades. So the areas you want to contour are underneath the hollows of the cheekbones. So I'm going to draw a line there. Then also around the temples, around the top of the forehead, underneath the hollows of the cheekbones here. And then you can also do around the jawline as well, and that will just help to blend your foundation colour into your neck and just to give you a little bit more structure. So contouring is all about adding structure and dimension to the face, so you want to keep the contouring to the outer edges of the face and highlighting towards the centre. And this is what's going to give you a really nice oval shaped face and just bring out your features more. So contouring is going to add shade to certain areas of your face to make them appear slimmer, and then highlighting is going to bring forward your features. So that is the main principles of highlighting and contouring. Then I'm also going to add a bit of that contour just down the sides of the nose as well. I'm just going to take my beauty blender to blend out all of the highlighted areas first. And then I'm also going to blend out the contour areas with my beauty blender as well. I just find using the beauty blender just really helps cream products to melt into the skin, and that way they're going to look really natural and just give more of a subtle, defined look to the face. This is my first time using this cream highlight and contour kit, and I will say I quite like it right now. I think the contour colour is really nice, and the highlight shade is not too bright yellow, so it's not going to look very stark. So quite impressed with this kit so far. So you can see that's just added some dimension to the face with the shaded areas and the brighter highlighted areas. So now I'm going to take the Australis AC On Tour Powder Highlight and Contour Kit, and I'm going to use the banana yellow shade to set the highlighted areas on the face first. And I'm going to be using a Real Techniques, this is a contour brush, but I'm going to use it to set the highlighted areas on the skin. Just setting the areas under the eyes first. You want to make sure to set all your cream products straight away with a powder, so that way they don't start to crease, especially under the eyes. And they're going to stay in place and just look really flawless all day. I have used this powder kit before and I do really like it. It's a little bit more on the powdery side than the Anastasia Beverly Hills and the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, but I do like this for an everyday use. So I do tend to go for this if I'm just doing a very natural makeup look for every day, and then I'll keep the more higher end contour kits for special occasions. So I have been loving using it for every day though. So that's just brightened up those areas just a little bit more and just set all the cream products in place. Now I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Set and Smooth Powder. I'm just going to use this to set the rest of my face before I go in with some bronzer to add on top of the cream contour shade. And this is in the matching colour to the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation, the number 220 Natural Beige. I'm just going to take a big fluffy powder brush to set the face. This is the MAC 138. I like using this because it has like a tapered end, so you can just manoeuvre it really easily around the face. You can use under the eyes. It's a really handy powder brush to have. This is my first time trying the powder, and the reason I wanted to try it is because it is a set and smooth powder for normal to dry skin. So I don't tend to use powders to set my whole face because I do have drier skin, unless they're very lightweight powders that aren't going to add any extra coverage or be too heavy looking. So the Maybelline Fit Me one was a really good drugstore one to use. I do use the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish as well, and I do really like that one for dry skin especially. So now I'm going to bronze up my skin using the NYX Matte Bronzer. This is in the colour Deep Tan. So this is the colour here. So it's just a really nice, beautiful, warm bronze tone. I do really like more warmer shades of bronze. They just make your skin look really sun-kissed and glowing. So I'm going to apply this over the areas that I use the cream contour. And I'm using a MAC 168 angle brush to apply the bronzer. I just really love the shape of this brush, and the bristles are really nice and soft. So they just really, you can build up how much bronzer you want and it doesn't apply too much straight away. And the shape of the brush just makes it so easy to apply the bronzer on the cheek areas and around the temples and the forehead. This is my first time using this bronzer and I'm really happy with the colour. I really like the shade. It reminds me a lot of the MAC Give Me Sun bronzer, which is probably my all-time favourite bronzer. And this one is just a very similar tone for that warmer shade of bronzer. So I'm really happy with this one so far. So next I'm going to apply some highlight to the skin, and I'm going to first use the NYX Born to Glow Liquid Illuminator, and this is the shade number 1 Sunbeam. And this is a really beautiful soft pink champagne highlighter. So I'm going to use this to apply on my cheeks and down the centre of my face first, and then I'm going to set it with a powder highlight as well. Love using liquid illuminators first before a powder highlight. They just create a really nice sheen and a really nice base for the powder highlight to sit on, and then you get more of an intense highlighted look. So the liquid illuminizers look really beautiful on their own for just more of a natural makeup look, especially in summer if you want to look more dewy and glowing, and they just look beautiful on their own, or you can definitely layer on a powder highlight like I'm going to do. I'm just going to apply a little bit of that down the centre of the nose, on the tip of the nose as well, and then just a little bit on the cupid's bow. It just gives a nice beautiful sheen to the skin. Now I'm going to go in with this ColourPop highlighter, and this is in the shade Wisp. This is just a beautiful soft golden highlight colour. So it's just that really soft champagne gold tone, which I think is going to look really beautiful over the top of the NYX Liquid Illuminator. So I like to use this with my finger just because this is like a really creamy mousse-like texture, which then sets as a powder on the skin. So I find it best to either use your finger or to use a dewy fibre brush when using this product. So I'm going to use my finger and just put that straight over the top. And it just gives a really nice, beautiful glow. I'm also going to apply that down the centre of the face. So just down the bridge of the nose, on the tip of the nose, and also on the cupid's bow. That just gives a little bit more extra glow and extra highlights, which I love. Highlighting is definitely probably my favourite part of makeup. I just think it just adds so much extra to your makeup, and it just makes your skin look really healthy and really beautiful and glowing. So highlighting definitely is a must. Now for blush, I'm just going to add a little bit of this Milani Baked Blush in the shade Rose d'Oro. This is just a really beautiful rosy pink tone colour. It's got a little bit of a slightly golden reflect to it as well, so I think that's going to look really beautiful with the look today. I'm going to be doing more of that gold coppery eyes, so I think this blush colour will tie in really well with that. I'm going to use the Morphe E4 brush to apply the blush. Just going to lightly apply that to the apples of the cheek. And this is just going to blend into the highlight and the bronzer, so it's going to all look really tied in and blended together. So now I'm going to move on to eyebrows, and I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Brow Artist Genius Kit, and this is in the colour medium brown. This is the little kit here, so you have a brow wax, a brow powder, and you have a little pair of tweezers and a brow comb and angled brush to use as well. So it's like a complete little kit. I think it's really beautiful and really cute and compact to take with you in your handbag as well. So really looking forward to trying this. I haven't tried it out before, so this will be my first time using this product. I'm going to take this tiny little brush and use the spoolie end just to brush up my brows first. This just makes sure that your brows are all facing the same way. You don't have any little stragglers pointing downwards or anything like that. So now I'm going to use the little angled end here, and I'm first going to dip my brush into the wax, and I'm going to use this to run along the brows and just hold the brows in place. And that way when you apply the powder over the top, it's just going to sit really smoothly over the top, and your brows are just going to stay in place and they're not going to start to go haywire and go everywhere. So that's the beauty of using a wax product first. Okay, so now I've used the wax, I'm going to go in with the brow powder colour on the same little angle brush that we just used. I like to start from underneath the brow and trace along the bottom, and then I do the same along the top, and then I go and fill in the brow. I just find that's the easiest way for me to get the same shape on both sides of my brows, or the same shape as possible, because brows are sisters and not twins, as they say, because one brow is always going to look a little bit different than the other, so that's okay. I'm really liking the colour of that brow powder. I think it matches into my brow hairs quite nice and just gives them more of a natural filled in look. So now I'm going to use the L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper, and this is an eyebrow gel. It's coloured. This is in the colour medium dark as well, so this is just going to add a bit of extra glue to the brows as such. It's going to help them stay in place and not move around. My brow hairs are extremely long, so they do like to just flutter around everywhere, so I definitely have to use a brow gel to hold them in place. So this just has a really nice small tiny brush wand, so it just makes it really easy to get along the brows with. I have used this a few times and I absolutely love it. I think the colour's really good, and I just find it holds your brows in place all day long, so I've been loving this product from L'Oreal. I just like to go in and just flick the brows up first and then run along the rest of the brow and the tail, and just come back to the front and just flick up those front brow hairs. Okay, moving on to the eyes, I'm going to start out with this Maybelline Colour Tattoo in the shade Bold Gold. So I'm going to use this as my base and then go in with some eyeshadows over the top. And I'm using this Zoeva 142 Concealer Buffing Brush. I find this brush really good for applying eye bases and primers to the lid. I just find it blends in really easily. Having the little stiff dome shaped synthetic brush, I just find that it works really well. So now I'm going to go in with this Milani Bella eyeshadow in the colour Bella Cappuccino. I'm just going to use this as a transition shade lightly in the crease of the eye. I'm taking that on a MAC 224 blending brush. And I'm just blending that lightly along at the top of the crease area. And this is just going to form a really nice soft brown transition shade for our other colours to blend into. I really like the formula of these Bella eyeshadows. They're very soft and very easy to blend, so I'm really liking this colour as a transition shade, and I just really like the way it's blending on the eyes as well. So next I'm going to be using this Maybelline The Nudes palette, and I'm going to start with this darker brown shadow here and use this in more of the outer crease of the eyes. And I'm picking it up on a Morphe M441 brush. So I'm starting in the outer corner and just doing following this outer V shape here. And this is where I want to just emphasize and darken up the eye to give it a bit more of a smokier look. Pigmentation of these colours is really nice from the Maybelline Nudes palette so far, so I'm pretty happy with that. Just going back in and just blending out a little bit at a time. With darker colours you don't want to add too much product and then it's really hard to blend out, so I always like to go in softly and then build up how much colour I want. I just like to flick my brush a little bit outwards and upwards to create a nice lifted V shape here, because my eyes are a little bit more smaller. So I like to lift my eyeshadow up to kind of widen my eyes and make them look a little bit bigger. Now I'm going to go in with this darker bronze shade on top, and I'm going to place that all over the lid. And I'm packing that on the lid with this Morphe G26 synthetic brush. I find this holds shimmery shadows really well, and you can really press onto the lid and get the best colour payoff. So I'm just pressing that all the way from the centre of the lid to the inner corner of the eye. And then just going in with that MAC 224 brush just to blend out the edges and blend those colours together so there's no harsh lines. I'm going to pick up this lighter gold shade and place this right in the centre of the eye to give a little bit of a spotlight effect, so just to brighten up the eyes a little bit more. I'm using a MAC 239 shader brush to just press that right in the centre of the eyelid. I might take a bit of this Milani Bella eyeshadow in the colour Bella Gold just to add a little bit more brightness with the gold on the centre of the lid, and I think this particular shadow is going to be able to give that really bright gold effect. So it's just got that really beautiful sheen to it, so I think this is going to look really nice over the top. Oh yeah, that's just given it a really nice beautiful brighter gold look. These Bella eyeshadows by Milani are incredible. They're so amazing. I think they're only like $3 or $4, so that's a really, really good price for the quality that these eyeshadows are. They're just so amazingly pigmented and beautiful. A little bit more of that cappuccino shade just to add a little bit more colour on top of the eyes here, and just to blend out those darker shades. Now picking up that Bella cappuccino shade again on a pencil brush, I'm just going to run that underneath the lower lash line. Just taking a little bit of that darker brown shade again from the Maybelline Nudes palette. I'm just going to run that under the lower lash line as well, just to give it a little bit more of a darker smoky eye feel. Now I'm just going to take this soft creamy white highlighter shade. I'm going to use that on the brow bone highlight. Just gives a nice beautiful sheen onto the brows. I like to focus the product just right where the arch of the brow is there, and that's just going to give you a nice lifted effect on the brows. Now I'm going to take this L'Oreal Super Liner and line my waterline with this. It's just a black kohl pencil. This is a waterproof 24-hour pencil, so this should be really good in the waterline. I haven't tried it yet, but I've seen really good reviews on it, so I wanted to give this one a go. Now I'm just going to take this L'Oreal Colour Riche eye pencil to highlight the inner corner. This is a beautiful soft champagne gold. It's in the colour Sugar Vanilla, so I'm going to use this to just apply right in the inner tear ducts of the eyes. And this will just make your eyes look nice and bright and more awake and open. Now I'm going to go in with some liquid liner. I'm going to use the NYC liquid liner. This is my absolute holy grail liquid liner. It's so amazing. The little brush is so easy to use, and the liquid liner dries very quickly, so I don't find I get any smudging on top of my eyes. So this is the most amazing liquid liner, and it's only $2 from the drugstore, so that makes it even better. I'm going to start by tracing a line very closely to my top lash line, and then I'm going to do a wing and then bring it back into the eye as well. are done. I really love the liquid liner for doing that. I think it's just such an easy way to do it. It's such a thin brush, so I just find it works really well, especially for my eye shape, because my eyes do tend to get transferred up from any other kind of gel liners sometimes, but I find this liquid liner dries really quickly and I haven't had any issues with it transferring before. Now I'm going to apply mascara. I'm going to use the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black, and this is the wand, so it's a nice really thin wand, so this is going to give really good length to the lashes. And then I'm going to use these red cherry lashes. These are the number 43s, and these are just really natural with a bit more length looking lashes. So nothing too full, but they just look really nice on the eyes, and I like that they have more of a winged out shape to them, so that will really emphasize the outer corners and lift the eyes as well. When I'm applying lashes, I like to go in and place the center of the lash down on the eye first, and then I like to push in the inner and outer corners. I just find that's the best way to get them to stick on really well, and that way you're having even lashes on each side and you're not doing them too far to one side or too far to the other on either eye. So that's just how I find it easier to use. Then I like to also press the lashes down with my finger and then push them upwards as well, and that way they're going to stay on really well. Now moving on to lips, I'm going to first fill in my lips using the Milani Colour Statement Lip Liner in the shade Spice. So I like to fill in my whole lips first, and this just makes your lips look a bit more fuller. And I like to just overdraw just right on top of the Cupid's bow area, and that just makes your top lip look a little bit fuller, and that just makes your lips look nice and juicy and plump. This would be a beautiful colour just to wear on its own, but I am going to add a lipstick and a little bit of gloss over this as well. The lipstick I'm going to use is this Maybelline Colour Sensational Nude lipstick, and this is in the colour number 725 Tantalising Taupe. So I'm just going to apply that straight over the top of the lip liner. This is more of a softer light pink tone, so it's just going to give a little bit more of a lighter colour to the lip. And then over the top I'm going to use this L'Oreal lip gloss. This is in the number 601 Nude Ballet. And then the last step is to set your face with the MAC Fix Plus spray. This is just going to enhance the skin, make it look more radiant and glowy, and also prevent any powder on the skin looking too heavy or too powdery. So this just kind of dissolves the powder beautifully into your skin. So this is the final look. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!